Today on Suncoast View, a prominent business exec says the key to attracting more jobs to the Suncoast is first training our kids to do those jobs. We'll discuss.
Sometimes when you make a deal with the devil, or in this case the mob, there may be a big payment due. Bullets Over Broadway opens at the Players. We'll have a preview.
And a Suncoast designer gets creative with floral fashions. We'll meet the local fashionista behind the clothing line. All that and more right now on Suncoast View. And welcome to the show. And Stephanie is off today, but we have a fun and somewhat motley crew up here today. And I mean that with love. I mean that with love.
Well, I don't know what motley is. So
right. Well, see, it's a
I may
it's a
be the
compliment.
motley one.
I guess I'm motley.
Yes, we have Jeffrey Kinn, the artistic director of the Players Theater.
Happy to be here.
Thanks, and we're going to get a nice preview of Bullets Over Broadway
Very
later
excited.
on.
Oh,
Very
exciting,
excited.
yes.
I know.
And Tracy Freeman, editor of Edible Sarasota.
Hello.
You two, I don't know if you've been together, but I'm a little worried about these two. I'm normally worried about Jeffrey and Linda.
Normally.
And Jeffrey, see, you're the common denominator in this worry.
I'm an instigator and pot stirrer,
Yes.
and that's why that goes so well.
It's like the little boy in school that gets you in trouble that sits behind you.
How did you know?
Put your hair.
At
usually
50
put your hair in the ink.
At,
or whatever.
at 53,
Yes.
I'm going to keep that.
The
Well, you know
bad
what's
kid.
funny, and I think Linda can attest to this, we often see, we're very, very lucky that we get a lot of like artistic directors and executive directors of organizations here on the Suncoast will sit in on the show, and sometimes can be the worst behaved. It's like when the teacher becomes the worst student. It's fun.
Well,
It's-
these are former actors,
Yes.
so
Right.
you know it finally comes out. It finally leaks out all over
Absolutely,
us.
that's what we do.
He's
Yes.
a performer.
well, luckily Tracy can handle her own next to Jeffrey today.
Yes,
So
I got
she
you.
can.
She'll just start cooking. That'll shut you up.
I can tell.
Tracy, you have, the winter issue of Edible Magazine is still out. Great
That's
issue to
right.
take us through. I know it has to get us a few months until the next issue.
That's right. We're quarterly, and then we kind of go a little bit quicker
But
at the
remind us
holiday
what the
time.
winter issue is all featuring.
The winter issue, we've got all kinds of different farms, and our biggest thing is waste. And we're building a whole issue on waste. So our spring issue will be pretty exciting.
Oh, great. And when does that hit the shelves?
That'll be at the end of March.
Oh, great. All
Yeah.
right.
So how to not waste food.
Yes.
And all that goes, yeah.
Unbelievable campaigns going on in our community.
Great.
That's
So
wonderful.
Excited to share those
Yes,
stories.
and you know what? A big thing to tackle here on the Suncoast. I know that. So that's great. It's going to have its own focus. Well, speaking of food, we will not waste anything today. We are going to eat it all. We have a new face in the kitchen, Chef William from the Culinary. Welcome, William.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I know we're going to be sampling a few different things today, but tell us about the risotto.
It's risotto, so it's it's really important. There's no rice. So it's a sweet potato risotto, and I make it with a kale salad with cranberries and pecans, and I'll be topping it with rosé duck breast.
Oh, wow.
That sounds really edible.
There's a little something for everybody
so.
in there. So the Culinary, we've gotten to
Cool.
enjoy your cake before, the dobosh cake,
Yeah, it's somewhere on the line.
the
here,
layered.
actually. Yeah.
I may have already gotten to it, but
Well, I have one extra for you.
great. Well, we are very excited to join you a little bit later on in the show. Today is also, we'll celebrate any holiday. Today is National Love Your Pet Day, which I think is something I try to celebrate every day.
Seriously,
Exactly.
the last
we-
thing we need is more Lulu.
More
'Cause the-
pictures of my Lulu.
Yes.
Well, first though, Tracy has a couple rescues. Tell us about your dogs. I think
I have one rescue. Her name is Shiitake. Actually,
Is this Shiitake?
that's Ozzy. That's my golden doodle, Ozzy.
Oh, so Ozzy helped rescue. He's adorable. A golden
Oh,
doodle.
look.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Now, is this the
Love
rescue?
machine. No,
This
that's
one is.
Shiitake, our little mushroom. She's the rescue. My mailman actually delivered her on January 1st and asked if we'd keep her for the weekend. And the rest is history.
Who delivered her?
The mailman.
The mailman.
Isn't it interesting how that happens?
So whenever they say you look like the mailman, no, in this case, the mailman did bring the dog. Well, I know that if you love your pet every day, so do I. Always an excuse to show my long-haired Chihuahua Lulu, who is the love of my life, and I rescued her, or rather she rescued me. I have to confess, I was sick last week. I took more pictures of her. I think she was exhausted from the photo shoots.
And shaking.
Yes,
From the
yes.
experience.
Well, that's a Chihuahua thing. But you know what? We realize it's not just about our current pets. This is also a great day to honor and love the pets that have left us. And Linda, I know Murphy. You talk a lot about Murphy.
Murphy was the love of my life. I've had a dog my entire life. Murphy was a collie. There he is with my grandchildren. He'd give me a look like, are you going to let God, these kids keep doing this to me. But he really was great with those kids, and he was great with me. He was the real love of my life. I used to anchor the morning news.
Oh,
I'd have to get in here at 2:30, so Murphy would come with me as my bodyguard, and he would lie out in the studio and listen to the news. Never any complaints. He was always there to protect me, and I just pictured him as a prince who had a spell had been cast over. He was like the man in my life.
He was a magical influence on your life.
And you never stopped loving. You never stopped loving him.
I still reach over to touch him in the bed. He died on Christmas Day 2 years ago, but I will never forget him.
Wow.
And I remember that your granddaughter said something very touching at the time. She said, now that he's in heaven, he's going to watch over her.
Yes, so she said, I know Murphy is always watching over me.
Isn't that incredible, the connection that we have with animals?
Well, that little girl was running down the steps one Christmas Day, and Murphy started banging against the glass door, just banging against it. I ran over. She was 2 or 3 steps from the pool, and we ran down and got her. So he was watching over her then, too.
Paying attention.
Yes.
Well, we are celebrating all of our pets, past and present, so we hope that you are loving your pet today as well. Well, it is time for our first hot topic. And a prominent business exec says the key to attracting more jobs to the Suncoast is first training our kids to do those jobs. The former Siemens CEO spoke at the annual Sarasota Chamber Breakfast. He says 60% of the jobs that will be out there in 20 years don't even exist today. So he suggests training today's youth in technology, which may only require a certificate or a 2-year degree. With thousands moving to the Suncoast, it is the perfect place to develop a digitally trained workforce to attract companies. What do we think about this? That's an interesting thing to put on the Suncoast. Could we be that?
I think it would be great to have kids ready to go to work when they graduate from college, jobs that are really out there, but we need a basic education. We need to study history. We need to study literature. We need to understand, as much as I hated it, math and physics and those kinds of things, and learn how the universe works, and then specialize on our special thing.
So you're saying basically it would be nice that people had a common sense education that kind of got them prepared for real life, and then if they find that technology is their thing, to throw the technology
to top it off with what you're going to do in your life.
Which I don't know I don't think that he's saying that this should replace that, but I think he's saying the idea of maybe not pushing kids into a 4-year school program right away, a 4-year university or college degree, and maybe going into a trade. We've seen a lot of our...
Then you don't go back to school to get those first 2 years where you're learning just general things. And I find myself going back to that. Things I learned about history, things I learned about how wars started. We need to know those things, and they may not help in our jobs, but they help in our lives.
But could this be an option for the middle class? I mean, we have a lot of people that are training for management, and then we have people that are training for low-paying jobs. I think there's that middle piece that's still missing, which could be coding, it could be engineering, running machinery.
And it's jobs that aren't there yet. So how do you prepare for what's not there? So I think it's a great idea, but I mean, how do we know what they're going to be able to need to do? And will they want to do it? So are these jobs that are not there yet, are they going to be jobs that people want to do? That's a challenge.
Yeah, and how do you prepare somebody for something that does not exist?
We spoke with Larry Thompson, the president of Ringling College, and he said, he's developing a program now that kids maybe are in 2nd or 3rd grade right now that will be graduating from that program. So how do you do it?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an interesting point.
Let's call Larry.
I may not have sold these 3, but I think it's an interesting point for the Suncoast. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on his advice. There is nothing worse than a kid who will not stop crying. But what about a transatlantic tantrum? One that lasts for 8 hours. Yes, it happened on a Lufthansa flight from Germany to Newark, and the unlucky passenger videoed it and posted it to YouTube. He wrote, "Watch as this kid runs and screams through the entire 8-hour flight while the mother does little to nothing to stop him. It was demonic," he says. And apparently, it was entertaining, as 1 million people have watched the video. So I'm not suggesting that we parent shame. However, an 8-hour flight with a screaming child.
Well, that's not good for the child. A child does not scream 8 hours. A child has a tantrum for a few minutes and it's over. That's a terrible thing for the child. She should be caring for the child. Forget the other passengers, caring for that child.
You know, that's when the Benadryl is, time to pull out the Benadryl, a little bit Benadryl to relax the child, something.
In a case of flight,
I mean, that's
not
extreme.
necessarily a bad thing, to take a little something to calm the child. One of the things in that video, you hear her say to the flight attendant, could you please just get the Wi-Fi going so I can get his iPad? And they said, we can't start the Wi-Fi until we're in flight.
But that's not 8 hours
Right.
worth of.
Right,
So
right.
that sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of excuse. Sometimes the spanking is a really great thing.
Do you have kids?
No,
Well, my parents
but I
did.
like to spank them all the time. At
My
the theater.
parents spanked, and look how well I turned out.
Well, that raises a question. I don't have children, but I mean, I like to travel. If you were on the flight with this child, would you be comfortable to discipline the child? Would you speak to the parent? What would you do?
I would like be pressing that stewardess button over and
Yeah.
over again. I would try to have a sense of humor because
But not for 8 hours.
Not for 8 hours. I
No.
think there are times when you just have to give that parent a break, and you don't know where they're going. You don't know, they could be going to a funeral. That could be the last thing they need, is to have somebody complaining that their kid is kicking their seat or something. So I think you've got to have a little bit of a smart brain that says, okay, this is what kids do. Let them
But
run
they
around.
don't do it 8 hours.
But not for
They
8
don't.
hours.
Something's wrong there. Plug in the iPad first. That usually works.
Yeah.
Well, that's
In
what
my
she
house,
tried.
that will work.
This
That
is
will
an
cure
extreme
anything.
case,
It's
and I think
extreme.
this kid, this situation will give a bad name to a kid that's crying because their ears are popping, a kid that's crying
Correct.
because they are hungry or want to
Well,
stand
there's
up.
something really wrong.
You've got to let kids be kids, but 8 hours is
That's not a kid being a kid.
It's a kid being
that's
a
the
tyrant.
parent not doing
I
the
have
job.
4 kids and I've got 8 grandkids. I know when a kid's being a kid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, an Oscar-winning actress is trading acting for activism for at least a year. Jennifer Lawrence says she is taking 12 months off of Hollywood to get more young people engaged politically. She's now one of the world's highest paid stars and already works very closely with a nonprofit to stop political bribery and pass anti-corruption laws. Red Sparrow, her new film coming out in March, will be her last before her sabbatical. What do we think about this?
I think she can make a big difference. People listen to her.
It's kind of a selfless act for a Hollywood star that's paid so much to say, I'm going to, at the height of my fame, I'm going to take a break.
She's at the peak. We hear about older women having a hard time getting starring roles. So she's taking her chance at the peak of her career. So I have a lot of respect for her.
You know, there's often a lot of criticism that actors shouldn't be speaking in a political arena. They should just be acting. What do we feel on that? Do you think it's fair?
I think actors should be quiet and only speak when been spoken
Only
to.
say the words that you give them.
Speak the speech, I pray. No, I think if you have somebody that has a heart and they have a desire to help change the world, you can do that at any point in your life. If she feels she needs to stop doing what she's doing and the paycheck to make that happen, more power to her.
And
I
if
mean,
actors can't speak out, then
Who
should
can?
chefs be able to speak out?
No.
Or should truck drivers be able to? Who can
Right.
speak out then? Are we going to make a
Exactly.
rule about that?
Thank you. I'm on Linda's side.
But as a producer, she's a producer as well. So she's going to be able to hopefully take what her message is and maybe do something really strong and really powerful. So
Well, we'll miss her on the screen, but I'm happy to.
A little bit,
that
She'll be
she's-
back.
She's going to be
She'll be
working
back.
for a very important cause. All right, here's another cause, staying healthy. Whether you're battling the flu or you're just fighting to keep your health, you're not alone. And you're also not getting sick. People are using the fist bump rather than a handshake to avoid the spread of a norovirus. In fact, athletes at this year's Olympics have been instructed to use the fist bump. According to one study in the American Journal of Infection Control, a handshake can expose you to 10 times the amount of bacteria as compared with the fist bump. Do you fist bump? Do people think you're weird?
Show me a fist bump. Oh, like that?
yeah.
Instead of a handshake, when you greet someone, a fist bump.
Okay.
Howie
See, I
Mandel
didn't
used
even
to
know
do
how
this.
to do a fist bump.
Isn't it a fist
Fist
bump that
bump,
like something
fist
like
A
this?
fist bump. Yeah, well, I mean, I think he
can-
got a little crazy with it. I mean, he was one of the first recognized as a germaphobe, and he used to fist bump. But do you still shake hands? Linda, you hug all of our viewers.
Yeah, I am. Well, of course I don't shake hands. But you know, I heard that shaking hands started maybe in caveman days. So you open your hand and stick it out, and you know I don't have a weapon.
knife, that's
yeah,
exactly
it shows
right.
you don't have a weapon.
That's right.
That might not be a bad idea these days. My
Right.
goodness.
What about kissing?
I would imagine
Because
I imagine it spreads
seriously,
just as many germs.
Yeah, I kiss a lot and hug a lot. I don't handshake a lot.
So
but-
you don't? Do you do the dodge? I mean, this morning
don't
I was doing
really
it to everyone.
kiss.
Tracy,
No.
you're out and about all the time
All the
with
time.
Edible and all of
I'm
your
French
events.
Canadian, so we do the,
Oh,
and I am a hugger.
Yes.
I don't think I'm about to.
European.
All right. So no germaphobes here.
I'll have to go home and practice.
I'm the
fist
only
bump.
fist
I think
bumper.
maybe that the fact that I like to hug and kiss has kept me healthy.
It
There you
could
go.
be. They talk a lot about building up antibodies.
You build it up.
All right, you keep telling yourself that. All right, we're going to check in with our happy hour forecast, and when we come back, a different side to early childhood education with an expert.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with you. Look at your happy hour forecast, and it looks as though things are looking pretty good out there right now. A few clouds around. Once again, today's highs are in the mid-80s, well above average. Typical high for this time of year, right around 75 degrees, so 10 degrees above average. Winds have switched around now to the south-southwest with that sea breeze, and pressure remains extremely high at 30-25. Temperatures in the 80s over the peninsula. A bit cooler, but still above average in Pensacola and Tallahassee. And as far as the high-pressure ridge goes, it's still holding strong, pumping a lot of moisture on up into Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio today. All sorts of flooding problems going on there with that steady flow of moisture coming in from the Gulf. You can see that reports freezing rain, Kansas City, all the way down into Oklahoma City, and then the heavy rainfall into Chicago, northern Indiana, and in parts of Ohio. We have some military exercises going on down to our south, and that's not rain that you see in the Gulf. That's the shaft from those exercises. Well, much more in our weather coming up at 5. See you then.
We often measure life by its milestones, and sending a child off to school is one of the big ones, whether you're a parent or grandparent. But a Suncoast early childhood educator and mother is helping to make it a little less scary for all of us. Miss Toni Kennedy and her friend Little Chick are here to tell us about their show. Oh, we're so glad you brought your friend Little Chick. Tell us about this young lady.
She's a preschooler, which means that but she's also a woman, so she's very ambiguous about her age. She's anywhere between 5 and 2.
Oh. And she's been a preschooler for quite a while.
She's been a preschooler for quite a while.
But she's off to school for the first time, right?
Actually, yes.
And you do this before children in a classroom?
I do. Little Chick comes along to help. She's the surrogate for the children in the classroom. She's also their empowerer because children's natural sense of empathy take over when they see Little Chick struggle with her very first day of school.
So you go to preschools and bring your friend and then talk to the children. What do you talk about?
Well, it's a show where Little Chick talks about what do we do at preschool. I've never been away from my parents all day before. And a lot of children can identify with that when they are in preschool themselves. Even the veterans, as I call them, there are some children that have started preschool as early as 8 weeks old because parents go back to work. Yeah, and so those veteran kids, they step right up and they tell Little Chick everything is fine. Preschool is wonderful. We're all your friends.
So they
you
can,
do
ask
that.
her questions.
They can ask
say,
her
hey,
questions.
what do you do, or how do you do that? Or
It's a very interactive show.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. How'd you get started with this?
Well, it all started with a music CD. I was a preschool teacher, and I would sing little songs to the children to comfort them. Biggest question of the day was always, where does mommy go? Will mommy come back? Where is daddy? So it started with the mommies in the morning all go to work, the daddies in the morning all go to work, and the children in the morning all come to school. And they were very happy and felt empowered. And you could hear the children comfort each other and relay this information like a telephone graph.
Oh.
If a child would come in and go, where's mommy? Another child would run over and say, oh, your mommy's at work. She will be back. And that was the premise of the entire CD. There's a preschool rules song on there.
Okay.
Gentle touches, inside voices. And our shoes stay on our feet. That was a big one.
I need that. I need that lesson.
So there's a lot of fun in there, but you know, when you started this program, were you hearing any problems from kids that were giving them an issue starting school?
Actually, I was hearing the problems from the parents. Yeah, separation anxiety is real, folks.
Oh, yes,
It is very, very real. And with the CD, as it outlined the day, parents would use it to comfort themselves.
Oh.
Because you know, you can always call your preschool, encourage you to call your preschool if you have concerns, speak with the director, and they'll be like, oh, well, they've just started lunch, and after lunch, they're going to have nap time. And oh my gosh, that was the exact order on the CD.
So you're playing the music, singing the music to them that tells them what to expect next.
And that empowers the child.
I like that too, to know what to expect next. Now, who is this guy?
That's the chicken dance. I love a good polka.
Oh, I can polka. Yeah.
I love a good polka, and so my show has a polka in it, and it's the chicken dance. It's the most fun.
Oh, what has been some of the response you've seen from kids who maybe had an issue and then this program helped them?
100%. Not only for the children, for the teachers, for the parents, for the grandparents, for the entire family. I have so many, my brain is just stuffed with so many stories of children who clung to the leg the first day of school.
Oh, I've had that.
And by the third day of school, they were walking in like they owned the joint.
I can understand that if you come in or go out with your teacher wearing this. And you can find more information about Miss Tony by visiting her website, MissTonySings.com. Next, some important questions that women should ask their doctors.
That is really adorable.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Rugs as Art. You know the name. You know the building. But do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore. But there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Thousands of award-winning Honda Civics are on sale for $169 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You made Civic the best-selling compact car in America. Drive one today for just $169 a month, or save thousands on your Civic with 0.9% financing. Civic, a KBB.com best buy for less than the competition. Only $169 a month or 0.9% this week at your local Honda dealer.
Honda, I like it. Oh yeah, I like it.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
13 million Americans are dealing with something they don't like to talk about, urinary incontinence. And women are twice as likely to deal with it than men. And it only gets more difficult with age. Well, Dr. John Devine from Gulf Coast Medical Group Women's Health is here with some help. Welcome, doctor.
Hi.
So you are a board-certified gynecologist, but you're also specially trained in another area that we haven't often heard of, urogynecology. Explain what that is.
Urogynecology is the new subspecialty of obstetrics and gynecology, and it deals basically with women's pelvic floor health. So it would be what are commonly termed dropped bladders, dropped uterus, urinary and fecal incontinence, pelvic pain, and so those issues mostly.
And this is a topic that I know some people are afraid to talk about, embarrassed to talk about, but there are some important questions that they should be asking their doctors.
Absolutely. I tell my patients these are not life-threatening issues, they're lifestyle-threatening issues. Okay, so once any medical condition disrupts a patient's quality of life, they ought to feel comfortable coming into the physician and asking or inquiring as to, is there anything I can do for this? Many times with urinary incontinence and that, I find women are so worried that they're going to come in and they're going to be told, you need surgery. And that's what they worry about. There's so many things that can be done that are non-surgical in that we as physicians ought to be open and make it comfortable for a woman or a man, if they come in with these issues, to be able to say, I have this problem, what can I do?
Now, I don't have this problem personally, but I'm asking for a friend.
Yes.
If you laugh or if you cough and you have this problem, is there a medication you can take?
No. There's nope, that's what we call stress urinary incontinence. Stress incontinence is the involuntary loss of urine with an increase in abdominal pressure in the absence of a contraction. So that's an anatomic problem. That's where the urethra tube drops. That we have to support. There are non-surgical, there's a little device called a pessary, it's like a diaphragm that works and things. The problem is that it's the loss of the support of that urethra, the pressure. There was a drug that they brought out, but it really didn't pan out. So unfortunately, there's not a medication that treats that. Overactive bladder, urge incontinence, the gotta go, there's medications for that.
Oh, now that we know a little bit more about urogynecology, what are some things that women should look for when they are choosing their specialist or their doctor?
Well, it's important to realize, I mean, anybody can call themselves a urogynecologist. You know, it's, I do urogynecology, I do this, I do that. But those of us who went on, we do now a 3-year subspecialty training. I did a 4-year residency in obstetrics and gynecology, which then makes you a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist once you perform your boards or pass your boards. I went on and did 3 years of subspecialty training, myself with a guy named Don Ostergaard, who started the field of urogynecology about 30 years ago. But that's 3 years of specialty training looking at pelvic floor dysfunction, pelvic floor anatomy, and then dealing with the treatment of urinary incontinence, pelvic pain, sexual dysfunction, fecal incontinence, and then the prolapse and the different things. So really focusing on that as opposed to all of the general things.
Well, one thing I know, we can't delve too much into, but we've heard news recently about the mesh, the surgical mesh that women can use, and there was some controversy. What can you tell us about that versus other surgeries?
Yeah, the mesh, kind of to simplify it, just to think about it, it's like the screen in your window, okay? It's, it looks like fishing line. It's a permanent string that's meshed together. We use that because there's not connective tissue in the pelvic floor in the vaginal vault. So when we would use the native tissue, it would fail. Mesh, unfortunately, is very stiff and it would erode and cause problems. It came out in 1996 for slings to support the urethra. They then came out with these kits for the vagina and had problems. I don't use mesh, never have. I use connective tissue. It actually comes from the leg, comes from cadavers, but it works like a biological mesh, so you don't get that. But the FDA in 2011 came out with a warning stating that if you put this in, physicians should tell patients, and patients should know what the potential risks and benefits are.
So you better go to the right person.
And so the conversation with the doctor is all the more important as we talk about this. Well, thank you so much. It's important information, and people, we want them to know they don't need to be embarrassed to speak with their doctor. For more information, you can visit Gulf Coast Medical Group at one of their locations or find them online. Next, a look at floral fashions from a local designer.
Very interesting, because women don't...
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Thank you!
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Welcome back to Suncoast View. We're going to check back in with Chef William from the Culinary. And Chef, you have a wine dinner coming up in a couple weeks. Tell us what we can expect.
It's going to be on March 6th, and it's a 5-course meal and then a little amuse. And it's going to pair traditional Hungarian wines with some international wines as well. And you can get a feel for what a Hungarian wine is, what a German wine is, what a French wine is, and it pairs with the entrees, and it'll broaden your culinary horizon.
We love that. Well, I know we're going to learn a lot more about the Hungarian influence on your menu, but that wine dinner is coming up March 7th. You can register at theculinary.com. We can't wait to join you later on in the show.
Being comfortable and looking your best don't always go hand in hand with Suncoast fashion, but they can. Fashion designer Mara Channon from Aerial Clothing SRQ is here with some looks to keep us looking good even when we are on the move. Welcome, Mara. Great to see you again.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So I love this concept, especially because it's warm here. Like that whole thing of needing to be comfortable and loose and flowy clothes is great. Tell us what made you want to make kind of that your focus for your design.
Well, it was actually moving here. I moved here 4 years ago from Atlanta, and I had been producing this line in another iteration for a few years. And then when I moved here, it's such an inspiring environment. It's beautiful. The climate is amazing. We have all these fabulous birds and these gorgeous beaches and all these colors, and they're really vibrant and they speak to me. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I love to be able to move.
Right.
And I want to have the ability to kick my leg up over the head if I want to, which is why I make a lot of jumpsuits.
Just in the middle of the day.
Just in case.
So these are some examples, and we'll see some in person too.
Yeah.
But you're mixing different kinds of patterns. Are there no rules anymore?
You know, not to me. I think that, I mean, the only rule would be, you know, obviously, it needs to just appeal, and prints are very personal. I love them. Obviously, I use them in everything that I do. I very rarely use a solid. But I love the idea of mixing them because sometimes you don't want to wear just one thing. You want to be able to put it together, and I designed for a woman who feels confident enough to just say, I like that together, I'm going to do it.
I think that's a great idea. I love the pop of colors because that, you know, you want to stand out, but you want to stand out not because things are hanging out, just because, you know, the clothes are popping and things like that.
They're so flowy and gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the idea is that it shows off your assets, but it also doesn't
Hide
make you
your
feel
defects.
doesn't make you feel restricted.
Right.
You know, so it's bodycon, but not bodycon in a way that you're like, I can't move. I have to look like a Barbie doll.
Yes.
Well, I don't feel like a Barbie doll, and I see some things I could wear.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good for women. My demographic is huge, so I appeal to women who are in their 20s and women who are in their 70s, and it's all across the board. So
which is perfect. All right, and we like the fact that they're loose, comfortable, and flowy, which is certainly what we need this time of year as we head into the warmer weather. So you brought a few looks out with you. Let's go ahead and call up our first model.
We'll bring up Gabby, and she's got on the kimono maxi dress.
Oh, I love. Now I could wear that.
So yeah, this
People
is.
my age could wear
It gives you a little sleeve. It gives you some length, but it still really shows off the waistline, and she looks lovely in it.
Oh yes.
And you could even. I like the plunging neckline, but if you were to wear it, you know, somewhere to the office, more conservative. conservative. You could even put a bandeau
Put a
under
bandeau
it.
or a little tank under it.
Right.
Yeah, and she's wearing this beautiful mala by my friend Jessie, who does these handmade malas too, which extends it really well. And it calls back to the yoga.
Very flattering, and the bright papa color is perfect for the Suncoast.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Let's bring out another
Next
look.
we have Kristen, and she is in our Palazzo jumpsuit. So this is a spaghetti strap jumpsuit. They come with a little obi, so you can wear them with a waistline, or you can wear them untied as well.
Okay.
And then they have a nice big fluid pant that looks kind of like a skirt.
Oh, yes, it does.
But then you can kick and open up if you want to.
Okay, you are giving me hope, because to me, and I know for many petite girls, jumpsuits, you feel like you have to be 5'10" to pull them off. But your model is more on my height and our height, which I love.
And she looks great in it.
Does the obi help with that if you push your waistline
it's
up?
proportion. So if you're smaller, you want to pull the proportion up. You want to pull your waistline up because it makes your legs look longer.
That looks amazing on you.
The nice, long, big legs.
Yes.
Right.
Your
And
legs
those
look longer.
fabrics help. They do make
The
you
fabrics do make you look very long and lean. I love it. And I love the coordination with the belt and the side.
You've got a talent for putting these things
Yes,
together.
Thank you.
We're very impressed. All right, let's take
Thank
another
you,
look.
Kristen.
This is getting very fun.
This is Jessica. And Jessica has on a patchwork swing skirt and then a little lace topper. And the lace topper is made from vintage doilies that I collect and sew them together. And then the fabrics, what I do is after I've cut out pieces that I have planned, I take everything that's left and sew them all together into a patchwork and make a nice little fun handkerchief hem skirt.
The skirt could not be more fun, and it's amazing that that's just leftover fabric that's been put together perfectly.
I try to use everything, so I use a lot of a technique called subtraction cutting so that I can use all my pieces.
It's an art and a science. You just don't
A little
throw
bit of
these
both.
things together.
Absolutely. And the little topper would be cute. You could even wear that to the beach.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Perfect.
super
All
cute.
right.
Thank you, Jessica. And next we have Shannon, and Shannon has on the halter palazzo jumpsuit in this beautiful Mediterranean blue. And so this is a jersey knit, and then I have a little cotton knit godet. Beautiful because it shows off the back, it shows off the bust,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
still
stunning.
really easy to wear.
yes.
It's got those nice wide legs, so it elongates. I mean, she's 6'1", so she doesn't really need it.
But would that work in someone who is shorter?
Absolutely, because again, it's got an empire waistline.
Okay.
So it pulls the eye up and just lengthens out.
Yes, and a lot of lines going down.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Shows
that's
off the
gorgeous.
waist.
Oh, those colors.
That
are
reminds me of the sea.
fantastic.
Looks
Yes.
like the
Yes,
ocean.
exactly.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. And last we have Jara. And Jara is wearing one of my #1 sellers. This is the Jodhpur jumpsuit. And it is a one-size piece that fits pretty much almost anyone.
I can tell it's gorgeous.
The Jodhpur styling is meant to kind of hide if you have bigger hips or,
Right.
you know, you kind of want to not show off the butt so much, but
Okay,
you want to
that
show
sounds
off
good to me.
the bust and the waistline. And they're really easy to move in. I have clients who wear these to yoga class, and then they also wear them out to dinner with a nice pair of shoes.
They'd be perfect for travel, too.
They're
All of
great
these
for
pieces
travel.
look like they're perfect
Yes,
for travel.
it's a great base, and then you can layer over it with a sweater or
Yes.
even a little lace topper or something like that. So,
All
yeah.
right, comfortable and colorful clothing, perfect for life here on the Suncoast. Let's bring all the models up.
Come on, girls.
Everybody looks amazing. Lots of great ideas as we get into the warmer weather, and also we can do some layering.
Absolutely.
As well, which we like. All right, this
Yes.
is Ariel Clothing, and you won't want to miss the trunk show that is coming up on March 15th. For more information on the entire line, you can visit arielclothingsrq.com. You can also find them on Facebook. All right, thanks so much. Some
Thank
great
you.
shopping and fashion inspiration. We'll be right back.
Thank you, ladies.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
This is an ABC 7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Scott Dennis. Here's what's coming up at 5 o'clock. Suncoast Congressman Tom Rooney announcing he will not run for re-election. How his departure could give the newly created 17th District its first Suncoast area representative. And many names have come up as possible successors to Rooney, why one of them is saying he is not interested in the position. get a check on the weather now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Well, if you thought it was hot, it was. 90 degrees. It's the all-time record high for February, not just this day. 85 was the old mark set back in 1997 for just this day. So we eclipsed that by quite a bit, 5 degrees. And as far as the all-time high for February, it's 88 set back in 1997. On February 28th. 81 now. It's cooled down just a little bit. South to southwest winds at 14. The pressure 30-25. And it looks like it's warm across the entire peninsula. 84 now in Orlando. We'll let you know if any relief is in sight coming up at 5. See you then.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Manatee County Sheriff Rick Wells will talk about the ongoing opioid epidemic.
We'll tell you where he's set to give a year-in-review speech on drug-related crimes tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
The heat wave continues on the Suncoast as a big ridge of high pressure remains in place off our coastline. We'll have details on the forecast bright and early tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Okay, picture it. Broadway, 1920s. A struggling playwright makes a deal with the mob to get his show produced. Ah, but it comes with strings. That's the plot of the new musical that is opening at the Players Center. And our guest host, Jeffrey Ken, is here to give us a closer look into Bullets Over Broadway.
Yes.
I've heard this before. Was this a movie?
It was a movie. It's a Woody Allen film, and it was such a strange, wonderful hit that they decided to make a live stage musical out of it, and it is quite delightful.
What's the plot?
Well, literally, it's a playwright, and he's trying to get his show produced, and the only person that's going to produce it is a mobster, and the one caveat is that his girlfriend has to be in the show. So it's kind of like be careful what you wish for or it's going to come true. And so literally the whole show revolves around gangsters. It's a little racy, it's a little exciting. There's a lot of great songs and great dances from the 1920s.
So what made you choose this play?
The whole season is all about putting on a show. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I like to do stuff that sometimes is a little unconventional.
Yeah.
And there is a little language, there's some lewdness, and there's some, it's different. So I like that it's unique and it has something really something special to say in a very interesting way.
Now we're going to hear a song from Bullets Over Broadway.
Yes.
Set up the song.
So this is two of our actors. This is Olive the Gun Mall. She is the one that's been forced into this show. And then one of the other actors who has a little bit of a food obsession, and they decide that they're going to have a little extracurricular activities.
Uh-oh. Okay, guys. Let's see that activity. Take it away.
A rose. How romantic.
When you wore those tight pants yesterday and walked away from me, all I could think of were 2 big jelly donuts. You could have a great career, and you should.
And I should.
Only one thing stops you, dear. You're too good.
I'm too good.
If you want a future, darling, why don't you get a past? 'Cause that fateful moment's coming at last. We're all alone, no chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber, let's misbehave. There's something wild about you, child, that's so contagious. Let's be outrageous, let's misbehave. When Adam on his hand. He didn't stand for teasing. He didn't care about those apples out of season. They say that spring means just one thing, little lovebirds. We're not above birds, let's misbehave. Da 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 da. Let's misbehave.
Let's misbehave. It's getting late, and while I wait, my pure heart aches on. Why put the brakes on? Let's misbehave. I'm fairly sure a fair demur would be attractive. While we're still active, let's misbehave.
What's this, Olive?
Oh, you're so good.
Take it, Olive.
Pa, pa, pa. Bubba-da, bubba-da, bubba-da. Let's misbehave. Meet me in my dressing room in 5 minutes. There's a lock on the door.
Make it 10. I want to finish my clam chowder. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Let's misbehave.
Oh, it is a little naughty. Bullets over Broadway at the Players Center through March 11th. And for tickets and showtimes, visit their website, theplayers.org. We'll be right back.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Well, since we have Tracy from Edible Magazine here today, Tracy, we have heard about a brand new invention with food tearless onions. These are now a thing. Yes, it took nearly 30 years to develop through crossbreeding, but the Sunyon, they're calling it's a reality. People are saying it's sweeter and milder, and some people actually prefer it over a regular onion, but it stops the tears. What do you think about this?
I think it sounds great.
Are you a crier?
I am a crier. When I'm making spaghetti, I've got mascara all over my face.
Yeah.
I do put the bread in my mouth, but
Me
it doesn't
too.
always work. But yeah, I'm a big crier. So I'd be interested to try it.
All right,
Yeah.
well, we'll check it out. No more tears, and there will be no tears in the kitchen when we head in with the culinary. We're making sweet potato risotto and duck.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
This is an ABC7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Here's what we're working on for 5 o'clock. Severe weather across the country causing flight disruptions for a popular airline. A look at what cities are being affected. And taking a quick look at first alert traffic, right now we are seeing a crash on State Road 70 close to the intersection at 301 near Onico. Now let's get a check on our first alert weather forecast with Bob.
Jacqueline, a very good day for the beach. Temperatures today soaring into the upper 80s to low 90s. You heard it right, 90 degrees at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport. That's an all-time record high for the month of February. Records have been kept since back in 1946. And calm conditions out there on the water, so good boating weather. Water temperatures also starting to warm up a bit. 75, there it is, record high, 90 for this day. And for the month, 90-degree temperature that surpassed the old mark of 85 set back in 1997. Right now it's 81. We'll let you know if any cooler weather is headed our way coming up at 5.
Breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook. Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a digital media producer to write and post fresh content to our website in real time. Excellent writing skills and newsroom experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job-of-the-day to apply.
Coming up Wednesday at 4, they call him the Billy Elliot of Irish dance, and he lives right here on the Suncoast. We preview Rhythm of the Night, a celebration of Irish dance with the Suncoast resident at the stage. Luxury homes are popping up all over the Suncoast. Our realtor talks what's new in Suncoast for sale, plus what's changed in our local medical industry in the past 25 years. And Chef Judy brings recipes with local strawberries in the kitchen.
And welcome back. We're here with Chef William from The Culinary.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, what are we making?
So right now we are making a sweet potato risotto with a kale salad and a pan-seared duck breast.
All right.
So for the salad, I steam the kale. You've got cranberries and pecans, which you're going to mix now.
How long do you typically steam your kale?
2 minutes.
Okay.
Just
it
until
doesn't
it's
take
soft.
long.
Yeah, you've got to trim it though, and then the dressing, please.
And it makes it delicious, right?
Yeah, it's not as grassy as kale. People usually associate kale with kind of a grassiness. Perfect.
I do. Yep.
That was good.
It's really healthy for you, though, right?
Yeah, it really is, actually. And I've had it on the menu numerous times. Not my personal favorite thing, but, you know, people love it, right? And that's what's important.
And it would be nice if it tastes good.
It tastes fantastic. Tastes like Thanksgiving. If you'd be kind enough to put the orange zest on it.
Okay.
Why do I not believe that?
Zesting the orange?
Other way, yeah. And
Like this?
Like that, and then get that orange stuff all over here, please.
Oh, I guess I'm missing the orange
No, you're
stuff.
good, you're good. You're just going to turn that now. Wait, turn that. We're done.
Linda, stop!
And now you're going to just tap this bad boy, and look at that. Wow. Orange zest.
Wow. So that brightens it. Will that brighten up the kale? a
It
little
really
bit?
will, because you know, everybody talks about essential oils, but that's how you get real essential oils. If you freshly grate the lemon or the orange or any citrus fruit for that matter.
Great.
And there you have it.
So let's work backwards a little bit now. You've plated it for us, but let's talk back about the sweet potato risotto.
Really easy dish to do at
Great.
home. It's vegan and it's gluten-free. So you're going to take a sweet potato, peel it. If you have a, well, I forgot what it's called, the thingy.
Oh, the peeler.
Grater?
No, grater. A grater.
Grater.
You wanna get pieces about yay big. It's like double the size of a piece of rice.
Oh, I thought that was carrot.
No, man, that's sweet potato.
Oh, wow.
And then you're going to take the remaining sweet potato into big chunks, boil it with thyme. When it's soft, you're going to put it in the blender until it has a really creamy consistency like that.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to boil this until it's soft, then mix it together, and then it looks like risotto.
So there is no risotto in the sweet potato risotto.
That's why I've constantly
The
done that.
air
It's really
quotes.
important,
That's
yeah.
the
It's
quotes.
risotto.
Let's
all of
talk a
those
little
things are
bit
very healthy.
about
It
the
really is.
Culinary's menu, because I
Yes.
know that there's a Hungarian influence. Where does that come from?
I lived in Budapest for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
So I'm originally from New York. I went to Budapest in the early 2003, and I came back when the restaurant opened in 2016.
Oh.
Yes.
So there are Hungarian options, there's an influence, but there is also...
Well, it's who I am, right? You know, it's continental, it's got some American, and it's got Hungarian. So, for example, that's traditional Hungarian paprikás, or paprikás csirke. And then it's nokedli, or spatzel to most Americans, all made by hand. The next one is it's Hungarian-influenced short rib stew. It's similar to a pörkölt, which is like a stew, what everybody thinks goulash is. Short rib, couscous, the sauce is a strong paprika influence. And then the last one is my European influence, that's lamb ossobuco. There's nothing Hungarian about that, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, talk about duck. So I know that that's what this was served with, and we do have the recipe online. But to cooking duck, I don't even touch it because I'm afraid of it. I don't know how to do it.
Why?
It's not forgiving, actually.
Oh.
You know, confit duck is the most forgiving thing you'll ever cook. Anything confit, because you just salt.
Cold feet?
Confit.
Confit.
But cold feet is awesome. It's fantastic.
Au français, Linda. Au français.
Yeah.
It's rendered duck fat.
Yeah, so you're going to take a duck thigh, salt it overnight, put it in a lot of fat, and put it in a really low temperature for 3, 4, 5 hours. Doesn't really matter. At the end, you're going to blast it to crisp up the skin, so it's so forgiving. It's the original set it and then forget it.
I think I'll come to your place.
Yeah, if you get, I had it as a special. I run it frequently.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about your wine dinner, but first, I noticed that there is a bottle, and Jeffrey, there are some glasses. So
Why don't you try that?
That's Jeffrey to work. Tell us a little bit about what he's going to be pouring.
He's going to be pouring Tokaj, which is a traditional Hungarian wine. It's also a protected Hungarian wine, similar in like how Chianti's DOC can only be made from that region, Champagne in the Champagne region. Real Hungarian Tokaj comes from the Tokaj region of Hungary, if I can remember correctly. And there's a rot on the grape called noble rot, which really brings out the sugar content. It makes it super sweet, and it's also graded by Puternyos. It's called. So that is 5 Puternyos, and yeah, go for it. So, and in Hungary you say egészségedre.
Egészségedre.
Egészségedre when you cheers, and have at it. Enjoy.
Well, thank you so much. You want to check out the Culinary, and I've heard that it's Hungarian, but it's not in-your-face Hungarian, which I hope makes sense to you. There is a wine dinner coming up. You can register for that. Go to theculinary.com. suncoast.com. And we're going to start to say our thank yous. Jeffrey, thank you for bringing Bullets Over Broadway to us.
You will love seeing that show. The entire show is a blast, just like that.
It opens this week, and you only have a few weeks to catch it, so you want to get your tickets now. And Tracy, we'll keep an eye out for Edible Sarasota's new magazine on the stands in March. No waste is going to be in here, but you can find out all about the waste issue of Edible. All right, don't forget, take some time, enjoy the Suncoast view. Take a shake of the day. Mazel tov.